There's a couple new game shows on Fox for the summer schedule. This one features Patton Oswalt as the host, and the questions are a bit more cerebral and less about the trivia knowledge. Let's talk about the 1% Club. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my TV review for the new game show, The 1% Club. This is on Fox Monday nights this summer, and it is a collaboration actually with Amazon Prime. This is interesting because most Fox shows, the day after they air, are on Hulu. In fact, I think every Fox show pretty much in prime time will be on Hulu the next day. However, this was supposed to be an Amazon original that, Fox was like, hey, we need some summer stuff for our primetime schedule. So this is actually a collaboration with Amazon Prime. So the day after the Fox airing, you'll be able to see the episode not on Hulu, but on Amazon. So that's kind of interesting. But in any event, there's a few interesting things about this game show, including the questions themselves, as opposed to the trivia-based model of most shows. These are more sort of brain teasers, cerebral type questions. So we're going to talk about this in just a second. First, though, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We do movie and TV reviews here on the channel, and just about every day I try to post something new. So there's always a lot to check out. And I do have a game show playlist as well. If you are like me and a huge fan of game shows, they sort of are back again in the primetime realm because networks are kind of struggling to fill, when there's a strike or when COVID hit or whatever. So they've been loading up on game shows lately. So there is a whole playlist on the homepage of my game show reviews. So you can check that out. And with that in mind, Fox has two new game shows that already started airing for the summer schedule. The other one is called, I think, the Game Show with Balls or something, where they get thrown into a ball pit, whatever. And I thought, I could do a compare and contrast, but I'm such a game show guy, and hopefully you are a game show person as well. So I figured each one kind of needed their own dedicated review. And this one, I think there's a lot to talk about with this. So this is not an original American concept here. This started, I believe, in England first, and then has done different variations. I think there's about 12 going on right now. The only one with a host that I recognize is the Australian version, which is Jim Jeffries, who is another stand-up comedian, much like the American version's host, Patton Oswalt. And I think this show needs somebody that can kind of think pretty quickly on their feet, have a nice repartee with the contestants, but also while the clock, the 30-second clock is counting down for the people to put in their answers, the host, can sort of run a little bit, improv with whatever the topic of the question is or whatever. And Patton Oswalt is very adept at that. If you only know him from sort of his acting roles or, as the voice of Ratatouille or the narrator in the Goldbergs, he is a really, really competent stand-up. And I think he is perfect for this hosting gig. I don't believe he's ever hosted a show before. Although, you know what, I could be wrong. He might have a podcast or something. He probably does. A lot of comedians do. So, maybe that's sort of in his wheelhouse. But I think he is a natural fit for this show. So the basic concept is there are 100 people on the stage at once in, in seats with like LED lights behind them. It's a little bit like 1 versus 100, if you remember that old game show with Bob Saget. And then GSN revived it. I forget who the host was. Maybe Brooke Burns. Or maybe Carrie and Alba, I forget. But anyway, so it's a little bit like that in the look, although the concept is a bit different. In that one, you had one person answering the questions against the 100, which were known as the mob. Here, it's all 100 sort of playing against each other, and each question gets progressively harder. And as people drop out, their $1,000 goes into the pot. So at the end of the show, the pot could be $100,000 or close to it, depending on how many people are left. And in the first episode, there are 2 people left. So the pot is almost that large. And then they have to sort of decide at that point, okay, do they take $10,000 and leave with that and be happy, or do they want to face the toughest question of the night and go for that big bank, which, if there's more than one person, they will split if more than one person gets it right. And so the reason it's called the 1% Club is because these are questions asked of 100 people, and not like Family Feud survey style, but these are more, sort of SAT type questions in some cases, or, brain teaser type questions, and they get progressively harder. So the first question, 90% of that 100 got it right. Then 80% got it right. And then on and on. And when it gets down to 50% or below, it goes in increments of 5 until essentially the 1% question is a question that only one person out of the 100 that they surveyed got it right. Now, listen, they're surveying probably not geniuses, right? So I think it's a little bit maybe easier than the name might imply, because ideally, if you're going on a game show, you're going to be, smarter than the average person taking some sort of on the street survey, right? But I think it's an interesting concept because so many shows, in fact, almost every question based show is a trivia based question. From Jeopardy to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Wheel of Fortune obviously is not question based, so that doesn't count. But most of those question related shows, or it's in the Family Feud or America Says survey type style. Here we get actual like brain teaser questions, SAT type of questions, and I think it's very interesting. Because it's not just, who was, the second lead in this show or whatever. No, it's like actual, okay, what follows the pattern? And you have to try and figure out, okay, what are they actually looking for? I think it's a really, really interesting show. Is it maybe too smart for the Fox audience, home of I Can See Your Voice? Maybe, I don't know. But I certainly enjoyed watching it. I think the concept, while a little bit on the surface like 1 versus 100, when every time they get one wrong, they're out of the game and then their money goes into the pot. That is sort of reminiscent of that. But everything else about this is pretty unique, and I think Patton Oswalt really is the glue that holds this together. I can imagine the Australian version with Jim Jeffries is similar because he is a very funny stand-up as well, quick thinking on his feet. And so I really like this game show. I haven't seen the show with the balls yet. That seems a little bit more standard to, I think, what we're kind of used to from a Fox game show. But I will review that one coming up in a few days after I watch it. But for now, this is one of the best new game shows that we've had on in quite a while. I leave the 1% Club with an A-. And you can check that out Mondays on Fox, and then next day on not Hulu like usual, but Amazon Prime will be your home to check that out on streaming starting every Tuesday. All right, thank you for watching Dan Reviews It. We'll see you next time. Bye.